I really think it's important those kids to learn their language because that's one way that they know who they are and why they're here. For instance, a couple people told me in my time that they had a white dad, and they said to me, they don't know where they belong. And those days I didn't know how to talk to them. I didn't know what they meant too, And they said, we don't know where we belong. And in most world, we don't belong. We don't understand the language. And I was younger too, so I don't know any better. I didn't know how to talk to them. But if it was not, I would answer. If somebody asked me here, I would know how to talk to them.
It's important for my tribe to try and teach our kids and whoever else wants to learn because, as we all know in this Western age, modern age, that a lot of indigenous languages and indigenous cultures are starting to fade away, and none of the younger kids are practicing any of our traditions. And so it's important that we try and teach our language to our kids, because if we don't, it's going to be lost, and it's getting lost pretty rapidly.
It not only teaches our young people, it teaches our older people, and it teaches the community as well. And we've had people come in from up at Klutika, up the highway. We've had elders come around and teach and help us make sure that we're getting things right when we teach it at the school.
It's really becoming a very sophisticated way of teaching a language, and there's no manual that teaches you how to teach Ahtna to grades pre-K through adult learners. And so we've had to figure this out, and I say we, meaning the team that's done this. It's taken a lot of work, and when you only have a handful of fluent speakers left of your language, there is a huge responsibility to ensure that you're passing it on. So we're trying everything we can and really getting creative. I think what's exciting is that learning is taking place in so many different ways at the same time. And so we have adult students who are taking university classes that are being taught by one of our tribal citizens. And we are able to do this long distance through technology. So we have people learning Ahtna all over the state, basically. And then at the same time, we're able to sit here in the classroom, be sitting in on these classes over video conferencing, and having our students in the room with us listening and learning along with our learning. And so they're even hearing some higher level structural language work that's taking place. But at the same time, we want to remain fluid to what's going on around us and our surroundings. So we're really responsive to things like our lifestyle patterns of when the seasons change and things come up. We had a porcupine gifted to us the other day, and so the lesson that we had planned maybe stopped and we started on a different lesson of how to remove the quills and then clean the quills, dye the quills, and then make them into jewelry. All those things came up on a whim, and it was a really great learning opportunity. So our language is being used in practice, and it's being used in classroom commands and directions and things that we're asking the students to do. So it's being used in so many different ways than it used to. My grandmother started the school in a little drive-in restaurant that she built for her kids. It was a Saturday school, and we used to call it the Dluni, the mouse house, because it had little mice running around it. It was an old building from the 60s, and so they had this little one room they would study in, and then the parents decided this is really important, we want a school. So my grandmother said, I want a little red schoolhouse. So they built her a little red schoolhouse. And when I say little, I mean it's very little. It had 2 rooms, 1 room for the grade school students and 1 little preschool room. And then very soon after that, with everything that was being learned and all the culture and language, the school started thriving, and they decided we need to build a school. And so they built this really amazing 1-room school room that also had a kitchen and a couple bathrooms, and then we started combining and growing our class size. So we had 12 students, and they were ranging in age from very little guys in preschool all the way through 8th graders, 9th graders. And what would happen is you'd be trying to teach some things on one side of the school, and on this wall, this little tiny partition wall on the other side would have little ones jumping and singing and dancing all over, and it just was not super conducive to the educational environment. So we were really fortunate to have some really great partners that helped us to develop this whole new wing. So we set out to 2 years ago planning, and we brought the parents into the process and the students into the process, and we didn't just tell what we were going to build, we asked what they wanted us to build. And so the parents and everyone chose the design. And we really talked about this building in terms of not just what we can use it for as a school, but it also serves as a community center, a place where we hold our potlatch celebrations. And it has just such a good feel to this building. We have a new commercial kitchen. We have areas where they can learn the language, we can learn the language, and it's just amazing to have so much more space to learn in. And I think it's really made learning much more enjoyable for the students.